Well, one surprising thing when you're talking about music
Yes.
is I walked into the audio note room. They were playing an incredibly powerful electronica track. And unfortunately, someone decided to play, can you play this for me after that track finished? And I was on a
Here we go.
high, this horrendous freaking fusion of prog rock, jazz, and God knows what, but done in a really bad way. And I ran out of the room.
DeVore Fidelity, the show partner of Not an Audiophile, the podcast. DeVore Fidelity has become one of the most acclaimed high-end companies in the world, and having heard the loudspeakers many times, I know why. They're all still handcrafted in Brooklyn, New York. We love how this iconic brand captures the excitement and breadth of the sound. Nothing brings you closer to the music than DeVore Fidelity. For a retailer near you, visit DeVoreFidelity.com. And we are back, episode 56 of Not an Audiophile, the podcast, and today we team up with Edgar Kramer from SoundStage Australia to offer an expose of Vienna. That's right, we were both at High End Vienna 2026, which is just wrapped up, and we bring you today a full coverage of what we saw, what we liked, what we thought was amazing, and maybe not so much, and also compare Munich versus Vienna, who won. But before we get to today's podcast, you should really at some point go to the YouTube channel, because while we were at Vienna, we shot a number of videos, and the one we allude to in this very episode coming up, where it includes manufacturers' interviews, is now up. You will want to subscribe. It'll assist us and yourself. Please do that while you're there. But you will notice our videos are sort of kind of like being at the show. We walk around, there's real live show sound, none of this overdubbed kooky music to avoid copyright issues. We don't care about copyright issues, we just want to bring you the show as it really was. So go and have a look at those. They have proven to be very popular. In fact, I believe our videos might be the most popular on YouTube as far as show coverage, walk around videos. Take a look, have a look at the new one. And like I mentioned, please subscribe. It will assist both yourself and us, because we have a lot of new videos coming up shortly on various projects, and you'll get them first if you subscribe. You should also, perhaps, if you use Instagram, follow us there. Our Instagram channel is, of course, always a way to be alerted to a new episode or upcoming videos as well. So thanks again for listening, and without any further ado, let's listen to the Vienna expose with Edgar Kramer. So we've got Edgar Kramer on the line to discuss the Vienna High End 2026, or is it High End Vienna 2026? Whichever way, I'm going to say it was great.
Yes, I agree. It was great.
So in the end, you worked out how the building worked.
Yeah, I think I may have mentioned to you when I sort of bumped into you at different times throughout the show that to start off with, I wasn't that happy with it. I just found it too confusing. But, you know, that's get the negatives out of the way first. So I found it confusing. But then by roughly Saturday morning, so in other words, about 2 days into it, I kind of, it kind of locked in. And I actually really got a hang of the navigation of the venue. But aside from my own bad sense of direction, I think the venue is actually great. It's, like I said, it's upmarket. It's much more contemporary. It's got a vibe. There's a grand entrance which is kind of befitting of high-end audio. And that, massive digital signage, which I imagine offers the high-end society a potential for an additional revenue stream for advertisers and so on. But yeah, I think it's a very good venue, and once you get the hang of it, it'll be fine. Of course, being the first year, there might have been some teething issues, which will be resolved, I'm sure.
I don't know. I felt it was incredibly well organised, and and a very luxurious feel to it, which clearly is a good match for what what's on display. And the grand
yeah.
entrance. I don't know. I was look. Munich has been fantastic over the years. Clearly well organised as well. But
Mm-hmm.
this, bar the initial confusion about the rather random nature of the building, because it is a bit. Well, it's rather odd, isn't it? I mean, there's these huge open
It is.
areas.
It's an odd shape, and
Yeah.
then you've open areas you go through, and you can end up going around in circles. But there was good thing there. They had a help desk or a information desk on every level, on every floor,
Yeah.
and there were very helpful people manning it,
Yes.
and sort of made things a little bit easier. You just ask a question, and they had the 3D
Yeah, the model sort of
mock-up,
thing. Yeah.
the model, of the layout of the place. Each help desk had a full list of exhibitors with room numbers and so on. So it was very well organised. Typically, high-end society organisational skills for this sort of thing. They're old hands at
Well, yeah.
staging a show.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It was.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say enough nice things about it. Really, I was. It wasn't just the. It wasn't just. Okay, so let's start from the top. The town, which
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
How do you think? I mean, and we're going to cover off on this pretty quickly, but I mean, I think people listening are
Mm-hmm.
interested in how does Vienna compare with Munich. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would hate for the Austrians listening. I would hate to say that it's it's a bit like Munich. But I mean, it has its own. I mean, both cities have an enormous amount of history, all right, and magnificent architecture.
Yeah.
They both have a very nice
Yes.
way
Yeah.
about them. That time of the year, the weather is great. What can I say? What were your thoughts of Vienna versus Munich?
Yeah. I feel that the architecture and the grandeur of Vienna is above Munich, and people from München will hate me for it, but no, I think Vienna feels like it's a more almost royal city,
Mm.
and both cities have great history, but there's just so many things about Vienna. The Mozart and uh, Freud,
Yes.
Schrödinger. There's all that history there, and yeah, no, and the food is great. Well, so is the food in Germany and in Bavaria, but I feel that the architecture is grander, and for me anyway, there seems to be more of a sense of history in Vienna than there is in Munich, although Munich, of course, has its own history.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. I think I prefer the public transport in Vienna.
Yeah, so do I actually.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Where
mean, it is. Is it the best in the world? I mean, actually, I read something somewhere. It's the most livable city in the world. Wasn't Melbourne the most livable city in the world at one point? You got to be joking, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's.
Melbourne was
I mean,
how dare they
how?
take the crown away from us? Yeah.
But I mean,
But it
really.
is a very livable city. I could easily imagine myself living there.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's very
And I
easy
was
to.
lucky. I was lucky enough.
I was going
Yeah,
to.
go
I
on.
was going to say it's very easy to roam around. Just literally, if you're not using the trains, you're using the trams, and the way it works, you. I mean, much as public transport does in the world these days, where you kind of sign up, I guess, and pay some money, and then you just hop on and off, and it's effortless, right?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the high end society makes it easy by providing, a weekly ticket for the media.
Mm.
So that makes it easy. And I was lucky enough to find a place, like a very nice hotel, literally 2-minute walk from Saint Stefan Platz,
Mm-hmm.
and the train station equally 2 or 3 minutes. And it was just, I think, 5 stations between Saint Stefan Platz and Casa Mura, I believe it's called, the station where you get off and walk to the
Yeah, to the centre.
AVC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the station
yeah.
is tagged with VIC on the end, which I think is Vienna International Centre or something like that. It's well, probably an
Oh,
Austro,
yes, that's right.
a
Yeah,
German
that's
language
also there.
version of
Yeah,
that. But yeah, it's
yeah.
no, it couldn't be simpler. I So I'm trying to think of negatives, but there really aren't any. I think, yeah, look, for me, I would rate it as a small step up from Munich generally. Certainly for those folk living in countries that speak predominantly English, I guess like our own and perhaps the US and Canada, it's probably an easier city to navigate in some ways because it feels like, maybe just a feel, but it feels like there is, it's like next levels. It's almost Scandinavian levels of English spoken. You'll never find yourself stuck.
No.
Not that I'm in Italy at the moment.
Not that it happened in Munich, but but I guess
no, that didn't.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I was just if you're going to travel backwards, Italy and maybe Spain and other places like that, you need some kind of language skills. Frankly, for Vienna, you can just turn up with nein, ja, and bitte.
Knowing you'll be fine.
And you'll
you
just need to know six basic words and off you go. A delight. The centre is a delight. To get down to the tic tacs of the tic tacs, tic
tacs, I guess.
The tic tacs or the
not TikTok. Yeah.
Crikey. I mean, maybe I have got jet lag. Acoustically, the rooms seemed, I don't know, better. Do you think than the MOC?
Yeah, I think acoustically the rooms were better. There's less glass, like like there is in Munich. Those big glass doors.
Well, in fact, there's no glass really, is there much? So
that's it. Yeah, so I think acoustically they're a little better. I think, having said that, I think on the top floor there were some rooms that were tiny, like really small. But overall room size was pretty good. Aside from that, there were options there. The only thing I think that I spoke to some exhibitors who've been supporting or attending or exhibiting in Munich for many, many years, that they were saying they weren't able to get the room that they hoped they would get, so they actually didn't exhibit. But so you wonder what they'll do going forward next year and so on, because those rooms probably won't be available again.
No.
So whether that means that that high-end society will have to have an overflow hotel along the lines of the Vienna Soundfest at the TechGate building to accommodate those other companies, that remains to be seen. I would say something they should consider for next year and going forward after that as well.
Well, I think certainly the professional. My gut feel on the show was that it's one of the most spectacular trade events of any kind, or show that I've ever been to in my life. It was so. It was a delight to the eye as well as the ear. I mean, it was slick. It was professional. There was beautiful displays.
Yes.
Everyone has put so much work into it. Not just the organisers, but the exhibitors really. It seems like went to the next level. Even though they're initially on the news of the change of the venue, there were, like you say, a few exhibitors who had, well, certainly a few I spoke to who had gone to the. I think there was some kind of, tour, if you like, of the new facility for key previous exhibitors, and many came away saying there's nothing there for us. Now, if those people weren't there, I kind of didn't notice, because there were supposedly less exhibitors, but it felt like it was a bigger show. I don't know. I guess that's just a feel thing. I think there were supposed to be 50 less exhibitors, but I don't know. It seemed chock-a-block, as you say. Where do more exhibitors go? Which brings us to these off-site shows, which I did not visit, and I know you had a bit of a look at them. What are your thoughts on the off-site extra shows that sort of hang off the high-end show?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't huge.
Yep.
So the Vienna Soundfest was, pretty good building, modern building as well. It's only literally a 3-minute walk from the Vienna Centre. And I went there briefly, saw a couple of rooms. I wanted to meet up with Vinnie Rossi and Gabby Reinveld, and they were exhibiting there. And then there was another show called the Exclusive Hi-Fi Show, where Eris Surratt and a couple of other brands were showing in there. One being Clarisys, which I actually missed.
Yeah.
I caught up with Eris Surratt and Stavros Danos, who owns it, but then had to rush back to the ECV for an appointment, and I didn't get a chance to go back to that show. But like I say, I think there was only a couple of rooms, 2 or 3 rooms, with overall 10 or 12 brands. And one thing I do regret is there was an event at a dealer for Halcro, obviously, as you know, an Australian company, and I wanted to attend that, but it was about 25 minutes off-piste, as they say, and and I just part of the reason for that is it's on me. I made too many appointments. I had too many meetings, and for the first day and a half or so, and then I had to cover a lot of ground to make up for that at the main event, obviously at Austria Centre, and So I wasn't able to attend the Halcro function, which I would have really loved to have done.
That's unfortunate. Well, my thought on that is that how does any one person, even if you have the endurance for the full 4 days, possibly in any detail cover the show? So, myself and Sharon wandering around, and I say wandering, running around. Very, very hard.
Yes.
Didn't make it on the Sunday.
I know that feeling, brother. I know that feeling, brother.
But look, so the building's great. I haven't spoken to anyone, exhibitor or press or, actual hi-fi buyers who were there on the Saturday who had anything other than very high praise for the show. In fact, speaking of actual customers for hi-fi equipment who were allowed in on the Saturday and the Sunday, there was plenty of them, wasn't there? I mean, the locals came out in force.
Yeah, I think there were. I still think, and I mean, I could be wrong, mainly because the venue itself is so wide compared to the MOC. Maybe it made it look as if it was actually less.
Yes,
I also thought that maybe the audio enthusiast community in Vienna would be smaller than Munich. Also, another reason would be that being the first year, maybe a lot of consumers who were going to travel from other countries in Europe thought, well, if I'm going to travel and go to the expense, I probably prefer to go the second year around once the teething problems are over. That could have been a thought process for some people from around other countries. I felt that Saturday and Sunday were less crowded than Munich. But I felt that the Thursday and Friday, the industry days, were actually along similar lines, if not even more.
Yeah. Well, I was gauging that basically off the crowd, the size of the crowd at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, trying to get their way in through the many scanning entry. I mean, what is there, about 8 or 10 people scanning you, or maybe more, maybe a dozen?
Yes.
Yes. And look, you get in, because there's so many, you get in relatively quickly, but maybe 10 minutes of queuing, if that. But there was a lot of people there. When I say a lot, I mean there was clearly at 10 o'clock there was 1,000 people.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Were you there at 10
o'clock? I saw some photographs. No, I never got there at 10 o'clock. I always leave it till about
I never got there at 10
quarter past 12. No, I never get anywhere on time at shows, only because I don't like to line up and wait there. I just like to just look in.
Ponce on.
And I know that by, say, 10:15 or 10:30 or so, the crowds will dissipate and I can just rock in and rather than me waiting around and maybe saving 5 or 10 minutes.
Well,
I just go straight in. And,
True.
You know what I mean?
Don't you have a special secret side entrance for Edgar Kramer? Didn't you get that
the Edgar Kramer entrance? Yeah. Yeah. No, but I did some. I saw a couple of pictures. of the crowds just waiting to get in, and I thought, this looks like it could be. Is this an AI picture? But then I recognised some people in the crowd. So.
But did they have 6 fingers?
Yeah, that's right. 2 heads. Yeah. So,
anyhow, moving on to the important stuff. This is all for the the sake of wonderful sound, and so take a 2-second break, and we'll be back with Edgar Kramer and myself, Andrew Hutchison, with the actual sound of the show. March Audio. March Audio is a proud episode sponsor of the Not an Audiophile podcast. With a mission to provide superb technical performance and exceptional sound at modest prices, Alan March has designed a range of power amplifiers, a preamplifier, and a selection of stunning loudspeakers that you should check out now at marchaudio.com. And we are back with the all-important what the hell did we see that impressed us, and maybe what didn't so much.
I mean, to be honest, as far as things that were super disappointing, I actually don't have much of a list for that, because, as you said earlier, there's no way that a person can cover the whole thing. And if I walk into a room and something sounds terrible, I just walk straight out and keep going. Because the features that I've been doing for several years now about Munich have been about favourite rooms. So that's what I'm hunting for. I'm hunting for really good stuff.
It's all
that sounds good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's. I mean, I don't know the numbers of the amount of rooms, but let me just say that it's impossible to see the whole show. So our opinions are very much what we saw and what we personally liked. There is no, as much as I have a pick for best sound at the show, it's the best sound that I heard. It's not the best sound at the show. It's the best sound that I heard at the show, and it's in my personal my personal opinion. It just, I guess, the correct way to describe it. The correct way is simply the thing that excited me the most at Vienna 2026, and that I'll leave it at that. Would you agree with that phrasing?
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
Do you want to? I know you. Okay, so the rules are not the rules, but the reality is that I have a slight bent towards value for money, although I love stupid expensive stuff. Kind of nearly as much, but realistically, not buying it this week. You probably are...
I've got a bit of everything. I didn't see that much.
Well, you go first with what are we going to do? We're going to just sort of talk about, is it the stuff that really excited us? Because the disappointments was, if we just get them out of the way now, maybe we should put them at the end, But you've already said there was really nothing that you didn't like.
Well, I walk away. I'll walk away. That's right. I mean, there were a couple of rooms that they could have been better, like that. And I think it's been a problem for several years now. The brand, is it EDS? That monstrosity with like huge horns.
Oh, ESD. Yes, the big Chinese horn.
Like a 5-way or 6.
100-way, 13-way. I think it actually is something like a 8, 10, or 12-way. It's has an enormous amount of drive units. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Because you kind of like you.
Can you clarify that a little bit? Because I mean, I would say it was kind of just sounds zingy and awful. But is that that's it?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I mean, just a kind of like a wall of sound without any definition, and there's no tonal truth, and just kind of in your face sort of sound. I mean, I don't see why that inherently should be like that, but
no,
it has been for the last couple of years or so in Munich, and then again here in Vienna. But so that would probably be the standout as far as a disappointment.
It feels like
notes here. I've got my... Yeah, go on.
Well, you run through your disappointments, and I mean, I only really have one disappointment. It's based on 20 odd years of going to shows and hearing their system sound utterly stunning and possibly best sound in show a number of years, and this year not so much. But just finish off your disappointment list. I kind of agree with the ESD, but I wasn't disappointed because I didn't expect anything, because if anything, it sounded better than Munich, I kind of thought. But
Right.
But hit me with your disappointments. Hit me with your best. Sure.
Well, yeah, that was actually it.
That was it.
I mean, a mild disappointment. Maybe I wouldn't say a disappointment. Right? Is there another word that's kind of like gentler? Anyway,
Most awful of
disappointment.
the show.
No.
Not gentler.
The big I think it's big Cesaro system with um, the Aliano. Is it Aliano?
With Mark Damon's turntable being the source.
Yeah. Because Mark Damon is a great DJ, and he always plays enjoyable music. The systems in Munich that he's and very similar systems to what he's showed in Vienna.
Yes. At Munich, you mean previously?
Yeah, in Munich previously. So they've always been very good.
Yes, they have.
In fact, one of the highlights. Yeah. There was something about this time around, and maybe it might have been while I was there. I was there for a couple of tracks that kind of didn't engage me.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that it was a massive system and super expensive. Maybe there's an expectation there, but then again, there were equally expensive systems around that would render the same expectation, and I enjoyed them. So yeah, that was my only slight disappointment, but nowhere near as disappointment from those big horn speakers from China. Yeah. So maybe next year.
It's a short list, right? I mean, I didn't actually honestly get into that room. I did hear Mark and Cesaro's system last year. It sounded very, very good. And
yes,
very,
very good.
But this year, didn't get in there, so I can't comment. Disappointments. Well, look, I've really only like yourself. If I walk past a door and it looks. I shouldn't say that it looks now. Let's forget the looks part. That's making generalisations. But let's say it doesn't look promising and it sounds poor from outside the room, and it's not a brand I know, and I'm on a tight schedule. What am I going to do? I'm going to keep going, just as you said.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I did, and that's a bad. And we'll get to this in the sound that I did like, where I nearly made that mistake, and then I went back and was impressed. But so I'm a fan of MBL. I don't know what's going on at MBL, but it didn't work this year, and it didn't have any of that big juicy bottom end that it so often has. It was a similar,
agreed.
Yeah, so that you found it the same way, not so impressive.
Yeah, the same. I found it the same way. Yeah.
They weren't playing it loud enough.
Like you, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I just don't know what happened, and then I went back, and then there was just some guy, not the normal, rather entertaining German gentleman that does the presentations, and I've forgotten embarrassingly his name, but he's a legend, and I think he's maybe he was key engineer at the brand at some point.
Oh yeah, Jürgen Reis.
Yeah, what a guy. So. Yes. Great, entertaining presenter, and he wasn't there. Some other guy was there, and he was just dribbling on, and I just walked away. So that was my really only disappointment, and that's partly because I've enjoyed them every year for I don't know how many years at various shows. And
I think Jürgen Reis.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think Jürgen Reis is no longer with the company.
Well then. There's the problem, because he was obviously instrumental in setting the system up as well. So one would imagine. I don't know that, but
I could be wrong, but I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's
I heard that somewhere. Yeah.
There was a general. Here's the other thing. It wasn't just you and I that weren't impressed. The room was empty. And have you ever seen an MBL room less than busting?
Never.
So that's
Never.
right.
Yeah.
So that was the disappointment of the show. Mild disappointment, but I'd still put it in the good list, was ICEpower, which in the last couple of years at Munich have literally I could have just sat there all day, almost did, sit through multiple tracks. I know neither of us are great horn lovers in a way. I think you're not a horn.
It depends. Not a huge horn guy, only because I can always hear the horn coloration, the cupped hand things.
Yes.
But that's not to say that they all sound like that. There are some brands that still can't get around that problem, but there are some brands, including ICEpower, Ensisara probably that can get around it, but
Yes.
maybe they just didn't this year, for other reasons as well.
No, I always feel like the Acapella is almost a giant waveguide, but whatever it is, it was still great this year. Much smaller pair of loudspeakers, and but of course not the magical experience in the sense of scale, because a much smaller room. In fact, they were in a cabin in the halls, which is a kind of a bit of a step down from last year, but and the year before. But in fact, last year was a step down from the previous year, I think. But whatever, I wasn't as smitten as in past years. Now on to the good stuff. What
The
did
good
you
stuff,
do?
right?
Do you want to just wrap up some of your favourite systems? I
Yeah,
mean,
because I've got a few. And I'm not going to go into super detail into each model number and each component in each of the systems, and
no.
but more about the key components in the system
Sure.
and what I heard. So one of the things that I heard fairly early on in my travels was a room where they had the big Avalon speakers and Doshi audio electronics. They
Okay.
had a reel-to-reel tape machine, but at the time they weren't playing that. And I think there was some metronome stuff in that room as well.
Okay.
And that sounded like really spacious. Like it was a huge soundstage, great imaging, and tonally it was very accurate, with good detail and not a hint of brashness or harshness. So that
Well,
was an early one
that's
that I
nice.
heard that I really liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Also early in
I
the
didn't hear
piece.
that, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, okay.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we're travelling in opposite directions almost. So yes, so that was Avalon's, you were saying.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avalon. Yeah, Avalon speakers are big ones. I can't remember the name of the model number or the model name, but it was a big floor standard that looks like a like one of those monks that wear the hoodies. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
I need to look that one up.
Another one. Yeah. Another one early on, and it's probably one of the very first rooms I walked into that was very impressive, was the Gada Acoustic and Acoustic Arts room.
Okay.
But it was all part of I think it was all part of the Gada Acoustic kind of exhibition area, because they have several systems there.
Okay.
But the one with the flagship speakers in the big Acoustic Arts monoblocks, that was really good. It was very dynamic. And just again, very spacious, big sound, huge scale. So that was another one that scored well for me. Of course, the all-out super system from Audio Reference, the German distributor of top-end brands, with D'Agostino, Wilson Audio,
Now that's
DCS.
that. I want to hear about that, because I, like an idiot, didn't get organised and heard sound leaking over the wall into the static display in the DCS area, which I guess was kind of at the back of the room or something. It must have been, because it didn't sound like it was coming. The sound I heard was coming from behind the speakers, and I was talking to the DCS rep about, but the fact that they've got a relatively affordable DAC, I mean, relatively affordable. But of course, what they had, and so I heard this sound, and we were just like, "Oh my God, that is, what is that? That is just amazing!" It was, I mean, hearing it over the wall is ridiculous. So, tell me what it sounded like in the room. I know it had the 5-box DCS DAC in the system, apparently.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is what, Varese or something, I think, from memory.
Yeah, the Varese. So it had SME's top turntable as well.
Yeah.
Or Nordos cable, a mix of the top end Odin and I think Odin Gold and Odin 2, I think. A Strump tank, sort of AC battery power thing.
Power station.
The new D'Agostino mono, that's right, yeah, power station thing. The new D'Agostino mono amplifiers and Wilson Audio XVX speakers. So not the autobiography, which that's another story. But they were on static display. And
So static display only for the autobiography, is that the...
yeah,
Yep.
static display only. Darryl Wilson gave me a bit of a tour of those, and I've been posting some stuff online about that.
Did he give you a tour of his beard?
But yeah, yep. No, it was like, yeah, it was. It's impressive, isn't it? Yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
it's
and
clearly
that system.
it's a new style.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
an original.
it's a biking style now. See, with the tires. Yeah, which just fine. But yeah, that system was phenomenal. It was it was super dynamic.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a pattern here where you can see that I enjoy systems that are dynamic, because for me, live instruments don't have any limitations or headroom issues. They're just free dynamics, and so I enjoy the systems that can do that as much as get close as possible. Not that we'll ever get there at this stage, but a huge soundstage. Again, the precision. So there wasn't, a vocal didn't have 12-foot mouth. It had a nicely focused, realistically sized head. So terrific sound, natural as well, and open, and all those sorts of things that really engage you in the music.
I find it hard to describe truly exceptional sound, because you run out of superlatives, right? I mean, it's
that's it.
It's a feeling. It's like, I think for experienced listeners such as ourselves, it's when you hear something that takes you, like, you're like, oh wow, this is something. I mean, I don't know what more you can say. It's really up to the listener to this show, and also to people who potentially want to, whether it's a $5,000 system or a $500,000 system. I guess that was a $1.5 million system or something. But the point is, you need to go and have a listen to it. We can talk it inside out, and it doesn't. The experience is very special, and it needs to be, because I wouldn't bloody bother otherwise. It's only audio cue at the end of the day. It's not like we're, it's not like it's cars, right? It's like something tangible, something that accelerates and makes it. Well, this does make a noise. What am I saying? But it is. There were some special experiences there, and people who say, "Oh, you can't enjoy sound at a hi-fi show." Well, I kind of disagreed about that even at the MOC, but there was the whole slamming door
still
syndrome.
Can,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was great sound at the show. Clearly, you enjoyed the sound of those Wilsons with that incredible front end. Price-wise, it would have been that kind of money, I guess, was it?
Yeah, it would have been that kind of money. Yeah. But mind you, it doesn't have to be that super expensive. And one of the systems that I really enjoyed. Well, I don't know if you were going to ask me about affordable systems that I like.
We absolutely are. Yes.
Okay. Yep. But another system that was much less. It wasn't, certainly not super affordable, but much less expensive than that system we just talked about. And I discovered this late in the piece, was a room where they had Silbatone speakers with wireless sound electronics and in-use digital. Mm-hmm. I think they had the in-use 2 or 3 box system as well, so that's certainly not cheap.
No.
And a reed turntable and tone combo, but that was phenomenal. Really present vocals, and I was talking about this to someone else this morning. A classical piece where there was like a triangle hit, and the tweeter just replayed that amazingly realistically, and so that was very impressive. Violin sounded great in that same piece. So that was one that was obviously much more affordable, and still super enjoyable. So it's not always about big dosh.
Oh, it's kind of not. I mean, really, often when you throw a lot of money at a system, and if they get the synergies right and it works, it comes together as a system, it can be extremely enjoyable. But ultimately, it's just a demonstration of what you can do if you're I was going to say if you own a, an oil mining facility or something. You don't really mine oil, do you? You more sort of tap it off. But anyhow, if that's worked out and you've got bored with endless McLarens and Lamborghinis, I guess you get yourself the full-blown D'Agostino Wilson system. That display, by the way, that you alluded to, the I think it's Audio Reference. There's the either German Austrian distributor or something, but.
I think it's a German distributor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. What a display. I mean, crikey. Just.
I know. It's the biggest display in the at the show.
Yes.
And in terms of surface area.
Indeed.
And and the brands, it keeps everything.
It was dripping with money. It was kind of embarrassing. And the thing that I noticed as someone who likes food is that the Nibblies off to one side and the French champagne was which I didn't partake in. I was too scared to take one. I was like, oh, I might get slapped. Even though I had the velvet rope removed to allow me to enter, because at that stage it was press only and you felt a little bit special, but then they took the velvet rope down and just let anyone roll around in there, but it like at some later stage, but felt a bit less special at that point. But it's oh god, what an amazing display. So I like you, I have my favourites, and I went and checked them out. We've mentioned MBL, clearly a favourite of yours as well, that didn't work so well this year.
Didn't work this time.
Did you get into the Silbatone room at all this time round? So, news update, Mike Lenahan's latest design is in fact back in production, superbly engineered and built with the finest materials and components by Lenahan Brothers. Visit lenahanbrothers.com.au for all of the information.
I did get in the Silbatone room, and I stayed for about one track, which is not a great thing to do, but I did enjoy it this year like I have in the past.
There wasn't quite as much magic, but it was still big and effortless, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what they do. They do big sound. But it didn't gel for me this year like it has in the past.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things I haven't forgotten, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago in Munich, when they had a bit of a muck around and they played, I think it was back to back, that played AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, and one track from each, and that blew me away. It sounded awesome. But this year, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know.
Well, I had a bit of a bad run with them as well in a way, because I went in there twice and they were playing the same god-awful piece of music on both occasions, which was some cover version of some drippy track, which we all know, but I can't remember. And they were, I don't know what the cover version. Why not just play the original? I don't know what that's about. Some audiophile cover version is one way to get up my nose. But anyhow,
so then that's when you start listening to sounds rather than music.
Yeah, well, it
sounds good.
Yeah, and look, it didn't sound bad in my opinion. And certainly across the hall, of course, was ESD, so there was no comparison there. That's right. Yeah. In the high end, I am just checking my notes, and look, I suppose the best sound I heard that was a fair bit of money, but not crazy money, was probably one of the PMC demos. PMC were offering a number of different, I guess you could call them shows. I think 4 or 5 different sessions that they were doing on their Atmos system, which was not as big as Munich a couple of years ago, where they had that big end room down past a cappella with a 112 channel system or something. This was not that, but it was impressive nonetheless, and it was a great presentation by Steve.
I have heard that from other people as well. Yeah. But I missed that one purely because there were so many people there waiting to get in, and I just didn't have the time to queue.
No, we booked weeks ahead, and because we're organised and you're not, and we.
No.
I just thought, look, I booked a ticket based on a friend of mine who loves PMC and loves Atmos gave me the heads up on the,
Yeah.
I think on day one when the tickets were available, so that way we could get in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then
Yep.
further to that, we actually booked it, and yes, the session was full. There's no doubt about it. Probably
Yep.
not as big a queue out the front as I had expected, but
Right. Okay.
thoroughly impressive. It was just interesting to get because the gentleman, Steve Jennewick, is obviously a fairly famous engineer, worked at
Yes.
Capitol Records for many, many years and had all sorts of stories, and it was super impressive, and he sort of knows
Yeah.
everyone, worked with everyone, and he played some, I guess, secret in-house demo tracks, and when I say demo, they're not, well, he demoed them, but they were, and there was one particular mashup, as he called it, of an In Excess track, which was just outrageous. In fact, I think in one of our videos there might be some of that track, and if people think, oh, it sounds like an In Excess song, but it sounds different, well, that's because he just pulled it apart and put it back together in a very interesting way, and turned it into an Atmos soundtrack, multi-channel Atmos presentation at the same time. Speaking of which, I guess both, just to cut to a promotional thing for a second, we certainly have a bunch of extra videos and what have you, and other roundup conversations, interviews, etc., both on the podcast and on our video channel coming up. So you should absolutely subscribe at Not an Audiophile Podcast on YouTube. And of course, if you're listening to this and you're not following on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you should. Edgar, give us a plug. What would you like people to subscribe to?
People should hit up SoundStageAustralia.com for the latest reviews, news stories, features, factory tours, and also check out our social media channels, especially Instagram, and the SoundStage Network's YouTube channel, which has us traveling, sees the American guys, especially traveling all around the world, making some very high quality videos of some of the biggest companies in audio.
Good ad, nicely read. Okay, we snuck that in there, so people were forced to listen to it.
Yes.
Back to the show report.
I didn't read that, by the way. That came out naturally.
Read only in the sense of you said the words.
Yeah. No, I get you. Just kidding.
Such broadcasting experts.
Yes.
Where the hell were we up to? I think I was talking about
You
PMC,
were talking about the rooms that you enjoyed.
Yeah, I guess the reason why I that triggered that subscribe now is because we have got an interview coming up with Peter Thomas from PMC, and that's what.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving right along. That was a very impressive demonstration in many ways. And okay, here's the interesting thing, and one of the reasons why I dropped it into this conversation is that at one point he played a stereo track. So they were all Atmos, and then suddenly said, "Oh, this one's actually only in stereo." Now at that point, I was a little torn because as much as Atmos is kind of impressive, right? When he played the stereo, it was kind of, I don't know. Can I say it was more relaxing, kind of enjoyable, like less on the edge of your seat, exciting.
Maybe you're less affronted by
that's
by
probably
music.
Yeah, that's a good description. And I have to say I enjoy both, but as much as Atmos impresses, it's a bit like going to an IMAX theatre. You do it occasionally because it's a bit special and different and a bit more wow. But you know, when he played the stereo track, I was like, oh yeah, I could live with that. You know, it's kind of more me. I guess that's why at some point I walked away from multi-channel a little bit and went kind of back to stereo, because really it just kind of suits me more. And I guess that's why, you know, there are people who are fans of both. But look, I have to say, Atmos, those PMC demos never cease to impress. Other things that impressed. Okay, the thing that I nearly walked past, and I don't know whether you discovered this room, Mavis. It's an unfortunate name in English, I guess. Mavis. Amplifiers. Where's that? Where's my notes? Thiven Thiven Labs have a speaker called the Grand Horn Gamma. Now, these are not what I would
Wow.
describe as a beautiful loudspeaker to look at. Actually, the bigger Grand Horn, and everybody wants a Grand Horn, there's no doubt about that. So they provided one, and they it's a smaller version. The bigger one looks kind of cool. This one looks less cool, but I tell you what, I walked past the door, I saw them, and of course they didn't strike me as being designed by Italians, so I sort of kept going. But hang on a minute, it sort of caught my ear, and I literally walked backwards and did it like a reverse, like a 3-point turn into the room.
3-point turn?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a 2-point turn, I think. But anyhow, I backed up and then turned left and went, and it was just, it was a delight. So it was all of those great things that are very hard to describe.
No, I didn't get to that room.
It was not a big room, quite a small room, very well-balanced sound. When I say horns, it's probably not a big horn. It's more of it's a horn, but it's not a big thing. And it just had that immediacy, detail with effortless levels of dynamics. I think they're quite sensitive loudspeakers, and you're driven by tubes, and it was just delightful, And I think the difference between delightful and is cleanliness, balance. There was a very nice sense of space. The imaging was good. What can I say? It's a brand that certainly for you and I, we're probably not familiar with them previously, but for those that are, they'll go, of course they sounded good, you idiots. But Mavis amplifiers, Thiven Labs.
Sometimes these brands, you mentioned the brand name, and I just don't recognise it. But sometimes I may have seen a photograph of that product, some other report, or just came across it on the net, and I don't remember the name. But it's like you're remembering a face, but you're not remembering the person's name.
That's right.
Yes. It's exactly the same thing with this. Yeah. But I didn't, and I missed a few rooms, and there were some rooms that I actually walked past, but not even realising there were an exhibition room. That's how I discovered. On the last day, on the Sunday, when they had the doors open, I discovered the VTL room. So that was just to the side, on the right-hand side of the grand entrance. And the reason they had the doors shut all the time because there was so much
noise,
ambient noise, that was drifting into the room from the outside. So they had to keep it shut. And that's the reason why I walked past it probably about half a dozen times throughout the days, and I only discovered it on the Sunday when they had the doors open. But that was a worthwhile room as well. I quite enjoyed that room. Luke Manley knows how to design an amplifier, and his wife Bea plays great music always. She's a good DJ, and so that was quite enjoyable.
I would have liked to have gone in there. I did see your post or something of that and went, oh, I missed that. Where the hell was that? And of course now I didn't even know it was there. So that's why. So they could have put a sign on the door, right? I don't know.
I'm sure there was, but you just don't look at those things. You know what I mean?
For those listening who you really can't imagine the amount of this show. So I mean, can we put it in terms of take the very well run and very impressive StereoNet Melbourne show, and impressive, on the basis that it's a good hotel room type show.
Yes.
What ratio would you say was the size difference between the Melbourne show and this show?
Well, it would have to be, I don't know, around 10 times the size. I don't know.
I think if you include the off-site shows and you add them all together, I'm going to say 50 times, but it's not 50. It's not probably that much bigger. But geez, it feels like
maybe 30 times.
Yeah, something like that. And I mean, that's
certainly. I mean, I was going to say, but with the hotel room show, there may be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 even big rooms, and then the rest of the show is basically the same size room, on different floors or whatever. But with this show, there's just dozens and dozens of very large rooms, and then the same again in smaller rooms and breakout areas, and
little open
plan exhibition areas, and all sorts of things.
In terms of brands, I guess they High End say on their website 500 exhibitors, but in terms of brands, that probably means 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 brands. I don't know. There's an enormous amount of brands.
Easy.
It's impossible to
Yeah.
wade through it all. Okay, you can knock 500 of those off as being kooky, weird stuff in the halls that no one needs to know about. And I don't mean that unkindly. I mean it's like components and capacitors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't even do those. I
No.
didn't. I just walked through those halls to a couple of places that I knew I wanted to hit.
Yes.
But then I just didn't have time. You just don't have time as a single person to do everything.
No, you do not.
And I was after sound. So
yes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Well, let's have a quick break and come back with the bargains that you heard at the show. And I've got a couple. And new tech, if there even was any. Back in a sec. And in HiFi news, there's been some changes at StereoNet. There's now, well, a whole new look. And there's also an extra section called Radar, which you're going to want to have a look at if you like to buy the occasional used piece of equipment, because it aggregates used listings of HiFi from around the world in a very nice way. Speaking of StereoNet, there is the Asia HiFi show, HiFi Expo, coming up shortly in Singapore, dates 10th to 12th of July. So book your airfares for that now. And we're back with Edgar Kramer from SoundStage Australia, of course, and myself, Andrew Hutchison from Not an Audiophile, and that's where you're hearing it now. As we said before, we'd love you to subscribe to both of our, the SoundStage YouTube channel and, of course, Not an Audiophile, because we've both got quite a lot of coverage coming up, although in somewhat divergent directions. We both have our own interests, which is why it's great to get together and chat about the show as we are now, because I think we saw different stuff. Speaking of which, bargains. Now, I'm going to go first because because I run this thing and I can do what I want, right? So is that how it works? I just want to. I've got it on my list here. Everyone knows that I'm a bit of a ProAc lover. Why are you being paid off by these people or whatever? No money's changed hands. But the point is, no. I just love the sound. So. I
always love the sound of ProAc.
It's just so damned easy to listen to. It's a combination of it just makes music, all right? So I don't even know how to describe these loudspeakers, but I'm just going to come out now and say bargain of the show for me, ProAc DB1R, which is the ribbon tweeter version of their smallest, I think it's their smallest, but an LS35A sized stand mount loudspeaker, or bookshelf speaker, I guess, but to get its best out, to get the best from it, as they did, you put it on a decent set of stands. They did not have them on anything amazing. They worked delightfully. So I got an opportunity to sit in the sweet spot. The imaging was beautiful, full soundstage, left to right, things in between, very consistently placed, not floating around. And here's the thing. They were playing Santana, Black Magic Woman, which, it's a cool piece of music and I enjoy it and I've known it for my whole life. How many times have I heard it? Many. Has it ever sounded this delightful? Possibly, but not on such an affordable system. It was just, I don't know. So powered by Aesthetics, which is an American amplifier brand, which you may be familiar with, Edgar.
Yeah.
Not rubbish at all. Very good amplifiers, and wow, I just sat there for the whole track, and then I listened to a bit more. I think there was an orchestral piece after that from memory. The point is, it had rhythm, timing, balance. Not the last word in detail, but it had this organic musical feel to it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I could sit there all day, and that's the way those loudspeakers sound. So for people who are writing comments on YouTube videos along the lines of, this show is BS, it's just still, it's just money, it's all crap and none of it performs, just go to the show and stop whinging on the internet, assuming you can scrape together the shekels to get there, right? So, I mean, all that money you're saving living in your mother's cellar should probably allow you to afford the airfare, right? But anyhow, I had to get that in, Edgar, sorry. Well, some of the comments are a bit...
You just lost 50% of your audience.
Well, they're not spending any money anyhow, right? So they're not keeping the industry going. And so I'll say it again, ProAc DB1R, best value for money at the show. I think you could power that with any decent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 amplifier and a good source, and you will get utterly delightful sound. Possibly never change your system for the rest of your life. And the other thing is they'll probably last the rest of your life because they're so well made, and I'll leave the ad at that, even though it's not really an ad, but I was delighted. Similarly, Neat Acoustics had a new model, a floor stander, so a bigger sound, powered by Cyrus in this case. Some of the new Cyrus pieces, also very nice sound, just slightly different, slightly whatever, slightly a little bit richer and fatter because, bigger speakers, but very similar, easy way about them. Not as well known as ProAc, probably should be. Bob Surgener, who founded the company with assistance from a partner who left some time ago, and now Bob has sold the business, so the new owners get him back in for the shows, and he still does the design work. Check out Neat Acoustics. Don't, what can I say? They're probably the less... They actually do quite good marketing, but people just don't... I don't know, they have a niche following, right? They have a cult of people that love them, and not as well known as ProAc, but kind of probably nearly should be. Have you, Edgar, got a bargain of the show that, blew your hair back?
A couple. By the way, I missed those two rooms, which is a shame because I'm a big ProAc fan. But anyway,
neither were big rooms. They were in that smaller realm, but both very good rooms. Quite often, I think the door was shut on the Cyrus Neat room. Quite often, it was on.
Right.
It was on level 3.
That's probably part of the reason.
ProAc on 2.
Level 3. That's where the little tiny rooms were.
Yes.
Yes. So one of the relatively affordable ones. I'm not sure that it was as affordable as the systems you just mentioned, but there was a room with a newish company. I think they're Portuguese, or Spanish. It was a company called Cinnamon Audio.
Okay.
And they do digital.
Spicy.
So they just. Yeah. So they do spicy digital components.
Okay.
They had a J. Sikora turntable, an Engstrom amplifier, the Swedish company, and Kramer speakers. And that was very impressive because, the Kramer speakers were very small floor standers, two-way floor stander. And, they were just open and smooth and... again, dynamic and that tonal quality that I enjoy. That's another one of my things. I just like tonality. And just, again, in one of those rooms, I think you may have been on level 3, small room, but it just somehow worked. Why did it work? Because it was only a small floor stander rather than putting a speaker that's too big for the room just to show what you can do, but and it doesn't match the acoustics of the room. So that was very impressive. And the other one, which was a bit of a surprise for me, was the new Harbeth powered speaker, the NLE3.
Are you reading my notes?
I think it is his name.
Are you? Have I?
You enjoy that as well?
When you were finished running through your bargains, I was going to come back and mention the Harbeth for a couple of reasons. I was going to re-mention ProAc because I said it's the bargain of the show, but I stupidly didn't say how much the things cost. They're €2,495 or pound. I guess it's similar, but I'll say pounds in the UK, although I had a feeling that Zoe told me there was a little interview grab that we did with Zoe and John being Zoe's husband, but also, of course, has absorbed all of Stuart Tyler's design ethos over the years. He's worked there for many years, and so he's now the designer, and actually this is one of his first models of his own. But 2,495 or thereabouts pounds. I mean, this is not a lot of money. I don't know what they sell for in other parts of the world. I mean, more because they've got to be freighted there, right? And then, distribution costs, etc. But a bit of a bargain. And of course, if you wonder how the hell ProAc works, we did interview Zoe on a previous podcast. Look up our ProAc episode. I don't know the number, but it was about 6 or 7 ago. Good ad. Back to Harbeth. So interesting that you walked in there. A new look and a new way for Harbeth, by the way. And what do you think of the sound?
I thought it was great. I think it was un-Harbeth-like, and
Well,
I was actually speaking to someone. Yeah,
yes.
speaking to someone this morning about this. Not every Harbeth speaker, certainly, but many of them, for me, and this is a personal thing, I find them a little bit coloured.
Yes.
But there are other models, important models for the company that aren't, that don't have that coloration. I don't know what it is. It could be the material that the radial driver is made out of, or box coloration for some of the maybe lower end models. But anyway, this didn't have any of those things. It was crystal clear,
yes,
superbly detailed without any brightness, and just neutral.
Yeah.
And it's a powered speaker, so it comes with an amplification box, and it comes with a DSP box as well. So they obviously set the DSP to suit a room. The amplification is Encore. And it just sounded really clean and enjoyable. Not sort of clean that becomes annoying after a while, but the clean that you can kind of get into.
Very earthy sort of balance. I would describe them as, which means basically no hi-fi artifice. I guess it was.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
But they are an expensive speaker though. But bargain in terms of for £23,000, I think it is. You get everything. So
well, it's basically a complete system.
Get a source.
Yeah. I did speak to Alan Shaw at some. Well, I wouldn't say at length. We've got a video speaking to Alan about this, because I was a bit taken aback, because active from the what is effectively the modern version of a BBC speaker in many ways, where they it's lossy boxes and of course passive crossover and all of the BBC sort of stuff, and very much that sound that you find a little coloured, which I do too, but in a kind of a nice way, right? So these are definitely less coloured, and I sort of presented that to Alan, and he was like, oh, it's better, because of all the advantages of active, right, and DSP crossing over. So I didn't get as good a listen to them as you clearly did, because Alan at that moment was playing them quite quietly. It was a track that I knew, but there was a bit of yabber in the room, which I have to say overall, not so much talking at this show in the room, just a general, just felt like that. People were quite polite.
Right.
Maybe it's the Austrian thing.
Yep.
Anyhow, but still didn't get. For some reason, he was playing it a bit lower than I would have liked. It was quite a big room too, as you would probably remember.
Yeah, it was a largish room. Yeah, that's right.
So that was. I mean, let's face it. It's not crazy money, and we will be catching up with Alan at a future date, without this sounding too much like an ad for future editions of Not an Audiophile. We are going to talk to him about this and how that came about. The gist of it was, though, he was quite open and honest that he basically felt that he needed to move things forward and take advantage of the technologies that.
We're in the middle of one of my other reviewers, not myself, but one of my reviewers is in the middle of reviewing the NLE1, which is a smaller version of the one we saw in Vienna.
Yeah, okay.
Two-way, and he was.
What's he saying about it?
Wrapped.
Yeah, cool.
Without giving too much away, because the review hasn't published yet, but he uses some much larger monitors as well.
Yeah.
He's got two systems. So one's based with the with BMWs, and one's based with this ATC three-way, much larger. And he was surprised at how close things were with this new NLE1 from Harbeth. Yeah, absolutely loved it. So planning on publishing a review relatively soon-ish. So, it's worth mentioning.
It is. Sounds good. And that would be on SoundStageAustralia.com.
SoundStageAustralia.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Class D, I spoke to ICEpower at some length. They have a new all-out... Now, we're jumping sideways, but we can come back because, we want to make it a little bit of a mess. Why not? Jumping around is good. It keeps people working, keeps them interested, like where are they going to go next, or where in fact are they going? Well, look, the reality is we're talking Class D. In this case, in the case of Harbeth from Hypex, but ICEpower, who kind of kicked the whole Class D thing off in the late 90s, have an all-out effort module which they are releasing right now. And, well, they're not releasing it right now. They're releasing samples right now, of which we have some coming. So we will be talking to you about that in the future. This seems to be a continual ad for future episodes, but the reality is shows do trigger a lot of, material, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so things that you need to follow up on and things that come in the future. Yeah, so understandable.
But spoke to Patrick from ICEpower, who is the designer, and he's a very interesting fellow, very generous with his time and a gentleman, and that was a great chat. And so we have that coming up soon. But more importantly, we're going to do something with this new module, and we will. That's perhaps quite a bit further into the future. But the reality is, I'm driven to understand how transparent it sounds, because that is their. It's basically what they're saying. They've tried very, very hard to make it sound like nothing. Literally, the old straight wire with gain. Now, I just noticed, speaking of value for money, although it's similar price to the Harbeth, the Wharfedale Rosedale, the new giant 15-inch.
I didn't get to hear them, but I saw them. Yeah, I saw them. Didn't get to hear them.
Sounded pretty good. Not unpleasant at all. Quite restrained. Not too much of a what you could call a banger, because it kind of looks like that. But no, very, very nicely, as you would expect of Peter Como, who I assume designed it. He was not in the room when I was there. He saw me coming and he ran away. That's not true. I actually rather like the Castle.
Speaking of personalities, you were...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No. I was just going to say Castle Acoustics had big comfy chairs and a pair of speakers. People were regularly sitting in them, relaxing and falling asleep. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, speaking of personalities that you saw.
Yes.
Did you? Yeah, you saw a few. No, I certainly did as well. Who did you strike conversations with?
I had a pretty dry run with. It was weird. I've never, of all the shows I've been to, I've never bumped into so few, I guess, people that either I know or audio industry celebrities that I'd like to see. I on the very last moment, as I walked to the train on what was my last day, late Saturday afternoon, I saw Michael Kramer. I immediately thought of your line that you apparently offer to him occasionally when you say hello, and it sort of had a chuckle to myself.
I bumped into him as well. I should say, and he actually did the line on me. And I had someone else we were in a lift when I went to Techgate, actually, to the other show. Yeah. And we were in the lift together, and he actually did the line on me. And then we just carried on a little bit like that, Hey, Mikey. And there was a couple of other people in the lift, and they were just laughing their head off.
Yeah, I bet they were. I don't know how you get away with that. I won't ask you to do the full line. No. It was, so I did see him. I mean, I knew he would be there somewhere. Probably a more current hi-fi or audio world celebrity, Devon Turnbull. I did not have a conversation with him. We exchanged polite waves as I was videoing his container, which is probably downplaying it, but the OGIS system was positioned in this very stylish-looking double 20-footer or 40-footer container. I can't remember really how big it was. I mean, it wasn't that big. I think it was just a 20-footer. Was it? 2 20-footers side by side joined together out the front of the show. Did you get in there to have a listen to the OGIS system?
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
That's another thing I missed.
It was always busy.
So I missed a few things.
It sounded pretty good.
But yeah,
in a kind of just the way you'd expect it. Very easy to listen to, relaxing, very let's enjoy some music kind of way. Not the last word in anything, but certainly a very well-rounded system that is a pleasure to listen to. And he seems like a
sometimes
nice
it's
guy.
good to Yeah, sometimes it's good to listen casually like that, and not have to have something that analyzes and pulls apart and
Yeah.
destroys the music, but gives you like a shitload of detail. But yeah, you just want to sometimes just cruise and let the music flow over you and enjoy it.
Find the sound of your life by crafting a quality stereo system with the HiFi Shop, featuring all the brands you know and love: Rega turntables, Bowers and Wilkins loudspeakers, Exposure electronics, amplifiers and CD players from the UK, and of course Sonos Faber loudspeakers from Italy. The HiFi Shop helps you create your sound. Visit the team at hifishop.com.au. We should shake this thing out. So I'm going to tick off all of the last boxes I've got here. Worthy
Sure.
mentions of things I saw and liked. There was a new Exposure headphone amplifier on display, and they of course now have a DS phono board, which is kind of unusual, but DS phono seems to be catching a little bit of a, it's got a following, these optical cartridges.
The optical cartridge,
So they've got a phono board that'll fit into pretty much all of their amplifiers of the last 10 years, so that's interesting. Eversolo. I've never seen a brand deliver Eversolo. What did I say? Did I say Eversolo? I've never seen a brand deliver so many new products at one show.
Right. Okay. No, I didn't. I mean, I knew they were releasing some products, but because they don't actually fit within the focus of high end that SoundStage concentrates on, then I thought, I need to save my time and hit some places where they actually fit, or things that fit in. So
I concur, and
but it's a great company.
They are racing towards stardom, which they're really. It is the new wave of
they're blowing up
serious Chinese products. So I was
blowing up for sure.
And the sound they had on these big, what looked like, I'm going to say, custom loudspeakers, lots of purified drivers in them. I honestly don't know what they were, but the sound they were getting with their own new amplifiers was very impressive. Primare. I have no idea how they... Primare.
Yeah.
Don't know how they like to pronounce it.
Swedish, so maybe they might pronounce it Primare or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, we don't know. And I should have asked them. I did speak to the gentleman who was very helpful with the facts. And the gist is they've got a new sort of rather unusually shaped series of components, power, monos and stereo, and they're called the 928 series, and they look cool. No idea how they sound. They're not releasing them just yet, but just thought I'd mention it because not everything has to be a thin rectangle. I think that really covers it. One other little comment.
For me, I mean, one of the discoveries...
Yeah, no, go away. Go away. Go away.
I was going to say...
Please.
Away you go.
Away you go.
One of the things that I was quite surprised about is a few years ago I owned an AMR, Abingdon Music Research CD player, the CD77, which was a battleship of a thing, superbly engineered. And this is before HiFi.
Yep.
And so then they stopped with AMR, they launched HiFi, and they're obviously very successful with that brand. But now they've relaunched with an uber high-end range of products. And it's the Luna series. And that surprised me because, like I said, they've been out of the high-end game for many, many years. And then they come out with this thing which, 4-box monoblocks, an incredible looking and superbly overbuilt and over-engineered DAC and a preamp. And I mean, they look like nothing. That they're totally unique. Nothing else looks like these things, and they're not only beautiful on the outside, but they're beautiful on the inside as well. Like, they're a sight to behold.
Oh, crikey! I just saw a video. Maybe when I think I was actually on your YouTube channel, SoundStage. The SoundStage, the SoundStage video channel. I was flicking through there. There was some great videos there. There's a whole bunch of ones with Doug doing pieces to camera in
Yes.
only a way that he can do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did ask Doug whether he wanted to do an interview. You may have set that up. I don't know. He said yes. He's got
Yeah. Yeah. No,
he's
that's
got
why I
he's got
introduced you guys. So I
yeah,
think,
yeah. He's got opinions, right? And
yeah,
experience.
it sure does.
So yeah, we'll be
Yes,
talking to him in the
100%.
future. Starting to sound like we're doing a
Sure.
little bit too much cross promotion, but anyhow, we do all get on though, right? So
Yeah,
the
that's
you know
right.
my go and have a look at that, people. It was a DAC that the SoundStage team and maybe others, but that's where I saw it. Shot the
Yeah.
interior of this DAC, which is
Yes,
probably
that is incredible.
wins
Yeah.
the award, even though I didn't see it. I shot a bunch of interiors. There was quite a lot of, in just general terms, there was quite a lot of vintage equipment on display, but also quite a lot of people showing off the interiors of their equipment, some with greater degree of success than others based on, if you look at it with a technical eye, you may go ho-hum. Not in the case of this DAC. Crikey, what a
No, that
thing.
wins the award for the most
Yes.
incredibly well-engineered and laid out
Oh,
circuit of on the show.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. Yep, yep.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
though I only seen it
yeah.
in video, I'd have to completely agree. And was that at an off-site show, and is that why I missed it? Or
No, it was in one of those prefab rooms downstairs in the
oh,
exhibition area,
oh,
in the
was it
X
really?
area.
Oh, I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, bugger.
And I only discovered it by pure chance. I was walking back from seeing someone, and they had the room had a big sort of glass window,
Yep.
and I looked in and I saw this. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the amps were huge, and
Yes.
then by the window they had the open top of this DAC. And wow, what a like! I've got to get in there and have a look. And then I had a look and I had a listen, and they were playing with some Martin speakers,
Okay.
and sounded great even in that small room. But yeah, it was phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, yeah. They've
Yeah,
certainly ticked the box for internal visual
yeah,
appeal, and obviously premium
yeah,
quality electronics, and obviously a lot of the things they've done in there are for good, fidelity related
yeah.
reasons,
And there's
not
some
just for
innovations there
prettiness.
too,
Yes.
So yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now we're going a bit random. Two random thoughts, and then I'd like to get to. How about two random thoughts each, and
Mm.
we'll get to what I'm going to say is my most exciting listening experience of the show, and I'm not sure why, but I'll
Right.
explain that in a minute. Maybe
Sure.
three random thoughts. Bowers and Wilkins released D5 versions of the 800 series.
Yes.
Could you tell any
Yes.
difference? I'm not having a crack, but because they're obviously superbly made, they still sound
Yes.
great, but
Yeah.
not a lot of change there. D4 to
Yeah, there's
D5.
it's minor refinements.
Yes.
I did write a bit of a list, and I actually missed some of the changes that they made, but I caught on the list, 3/4 of the way through or something, or half the way through.
Yep.
So they've got new driver motors, so that's quite an important change. They've redesigned the crossover.
Okay.
The one that isn't a huge thing, but it's probably something that's made some difference is there's a new wire harness which shortens the signal path. The new tweeter grill, well, that's
Yeah.
but yeah, the driver motors are the most important
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
there,
All
I
right.
think.
Okay.
And
Noted. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you're not going to see that, are you?
yeah,
So externally, they look stunning as they
yeah.
always do.
External, they look exactly the same. Yeah, yeah. There might be some things that
They're
you really have to
they're
dig deep
just
to find, and yeah. But I actually quite enjoyed the sound that they got with Mark Levinson. I think it was Mark Levinson Mark Levinson Electronics.
yes.
And I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Obviously it's hard to tell whether there's a difference between D5 and D4 without doing back-to-back things.
No.
Yeah, but,
I mean, they won't have made it worse, right?
yeah.
I mean, they've progressively
Yeah,
improved.
exactly.
over
No,
the years,
it's
so.
not the sort of company that makes anything. Takes a backward step. No
Indeed.
way. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And probably the only other thing I feel like I should mention was, and it's kind of connected, is that I heard pretty good sound in the airtight room, with a pair of full
Oh,
range
yes.
loudspeakers, which annoyingly I have not written down, and I know the name, but it's a complicated German sounding name, and I'm embarrassing myself now. Wolf something or other. You know.
Wolflanger?
Yeah. So
Yeah, right. Okay.
so
Yep.
airtight tube amps. With those speakers, it's had a very particular way about it. It was a very enjoyable
Yep.
presentation. Jack was there from
Yes.
Airtight, hell of a nice guy. I had a quick chat
Yes.
with him. He was having
Yes.
a great time, although he's
Yeah.
been to 4 shows in 4 weeks or something like that. He said he's getting a little tired.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, quite a schedule. I'm
Yeah.
not sure where all the shows were. He said small shows. Yeah, some were perhaps
Yeah.
dealers and things. But not far from
Yes.
there was of course, and there is a connection, is in that sense that his grandfather was a co-founder of Luxman, and Luxman were in that room celebrating their 100-year anniversary, which so beats everyone basically. All these 80-year anniversaries, we got there 20 years
Yeah.
earlier.
That's young ones. The young
Yes,
ones.
that's right, and had a bunch of new products, 100-year anniversary products. So I would go and have a look at the Luxman website. I heard good sound in there. Speaking of Martin,
Yeah, it was good sound. It was
I
good
think
sound in there.
they were
Actually,
Martins as well. I
totally agree.
think.
Yeah, there were Martins as well. Yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah.
there was good sound in there.
Big monoblocks
So,
with a
something we
Veranos in
should
the preamp.
mention.
Yep, sure. Well, that's
Yep.
mine. So
So I was going to say.
away you go. You wrap up your.
Well, something that is worth mentioning, especially since we mentioned the Bowers and Wilkins flagship 801 D5 that I heard at the press release, but press launch. But the JBL Everest.
Oh yeah, how could we?
Um,
How could we
yeah,
forget? Sorry. Yes.
yeah, yes, exactly. So yeah, that was quite impressive. Although obviously way too much for the room, and maybe overloading the room in the bass, but certainly some potential there as well to in a better room to sound super impressive.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah.
So yeah. I didn't get to hear the K2, which is the next model down, but yeah, the Everest sounded super powerful and super dynamic in the JBL sort of way, but with some refinement, which is also something I found when I reviewed at the time the flagship, which is the Makalu
Yes.
speaker. Check that review out on soundstageaustralia.com, and yeah, that was the same sort of refinement, but taken up several steps, as you'd expect.
I would agree. I thought it was. I mean, the gentleman who was doing the demos in that room did like to play it loud. It played some big, quite modern music. And speaking of music, just throw that in there because it just reminded me. Not too much awful music played at the show. I thought probably a little bit too much squeaky, easy to perform lightweight pieces, but plenty of rooms playing real music. I heard lots of real music. My God, to the point where, and here's a demanding performer, a room I was in, Magico room actually, to give him a free plug.
Okay.
Good sound in there. Played a Ricky Lee Jones track. Very brave of him because her voice is difficult to reproduce in a pleasant way sometimes, and sounded great. But there was lots of great normal music played. One exception. I walked into, I'm pretty sure it was the Klipsch demonstration of the new corner horns, and my God, they were playing, what's his name? Memory is playing up. What's the name? Keith Don't Go. Oh my God. I thought we were done with that. I thought that was finished.
Yeah.
Klipsch, they had a lot of their old models there and stuff, so maybe they're bringing stuff back. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Edgar,
one surprising thing when you're talking about music
yes.
is I walked into the audio note room, which I think from memory was at TechGate. Could be wrong. Anyway,
I think it was.
And this is totally unlike audio note, but they were playing an incredibly powerful electronica track, which it wasn't just electronica for the sake of it. It was actually a really great track, really enjoyable. And, audio note, as you probably know, it's usually kind of like world music, simple vocals, and done beautifully, usually done beautifully. The tonal kings usually. But, yeah, this is just aggressive, powerful electronica, which is done really, really well. And unfortunately, someone decided to play, can you play this for me after that track finished? And it was on a high. Can you play this for me? And it was like this horrendous freaking fusion of prog rock, jazz, and God knows what, but done in a really bad way and really badly recorded. And I ran out of the room because I didn't want to have that great experience with the electronica track totally spoiled.
Dear.
So
it's
so sometimes if I'd walk into that room, one track later, I would have said, what a load of shit.
Yes,
but there's a lesson in there. Always stay for more than 2 or 3 tracks.
There is indeed. It's you don't really, if you don't know the particular track that you've walked in on, then you maybe should wait for one you do, so you can judge, because it could be the reason why it sounds bad is because it is bad. So in fact, the system is doing a great job of reproducing the flaws in the particular piece of music.
Exactly.
Before I go to the most exciting thing that happened at the show, I was actually going to mention one other. Takumi turntables from Holland. Rick doesn't matter. Rick's a great Holland, Dutch, Netherlands guy, resident, who's designed these turntables. They're not new. If you're not familiar with Takumi turntable, sounds Japanese. It's not. He uses it for reasons of the meaning of that Japanese word, which is something you'll read about on the website, because I've forgotten the exact description, but it's to do with just being brilliant at what you do. They are because I should have included them with the ProAc bargain of the show, because the bargain turntable of the show is the Takumi, starting at €12.95 euro. Go and have a look if you don't know about them. I'm obviously a heathen. I didn't know they existed until this show. I was genuinely pleased to see such a beautifully made turntable at such a sensible price. Check them out.
Yep. Yeah.
Go, Edgar.
That's
what are
nice
your
one.
final points?
Final points. I guess I'm kind of wrapped up, aside from maybe some of the people that.
Back to the celebrities.
Got a chance to catch up with.
Look, I spoke to lots of designers. We've got interviews. I won't turn this into an ad, but we did have a good run with speaking to well-known brands and their designers or owners, and there's interviews and what have you coming up. In fact, I did more of that at this show than probably others. But as far as...
That's exactly it, yeah.
I was going to
say, that's exactly what I did, rather than doing lots of videos of more and more equipment, which I'm going to handle in my report anyway.
Yes.
I concentrated a bit more on actually talking to people, and I've already mentioned Darryl Wilson and Luke Manley, but spoke to Oliver Goebel and Lyle Smith and Andy Kerr from Bowers and Wilkins, Mark Johansson from Zenzati, Ole Vitus from Vitus Audio. Gosh, I don't know, Vinnie Rossi, Gabby Reinfeld. Yeah,
they were
people
all there.
that are running. Yeah, they're all there running important companies. Yeah. Maybe more. I don't know.
But I think people are on their best behaviour. They're.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
It's part of a brand building exercise to be pleasant to speak to, surely. And probably, if anyone had a right to be a little arrogant with his recent success and celebrity, would probably be Devon Turnbull. But he was speaking to anyone, so who had the time to wait in the queue to speak to him, which I, unfortunately, like yourself, you know the story, we really don't mostly have the time. Okay, so have you got a most amazing listening experience at the show that you wish to discuss, or not?
I think we kind of covered that. Because we mentioned the rooms that we enjoyed the most already. And I think I covered all of those. The obvious one was that audio reference system with all the $1 things, but it was just such a phenomenal system without, being obvious about it. Yes, okay, it costs $1.5 million. Of course, it has to sound great. Yes. Well, yeah, it did, and you can also stuff up an expensive system like that by not setting it up properly, or mismatching components, or a number of other reasons. But yeah, it was just so
perfect,
magnificent. It was majestic, you know.
Majestic,
so
good
yeah,
word.
that would probably be yeah.
Well, I had down in the halls. Well, two parts to this story. Wandering around the show, I did bump into a somewhat minor or major, depending on your outlook, local, for us, Australian audio celebrity in the form of Peter Amos from Amber Technology, who has been in the business forever. Hell of a nice guy.
Yes.
You've no doubt met him at some stage.
I met up with him there at Vienna as well. Yeah,
He is he's a very, what would you describe him as? He knows a incredible amount about good sound audio, both in the, well, probably mostly in the commercial world, recording radio stations, studios, TV, what have you.
But he's got this humble sort of charisma about him, and
he kind of does.
And because he's quiet, and but then when he starts, you really know this guy knows what he's talking about.
He knows his shit. So bumped into him and Marty, just wandering the halls, and I said, "So what have you seen that you liked?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, it's all pretty good, but there was this one thing," and he pulls out this brochure. Now, who the hell collects brochures anymore? Well, no one. Well, there's not even brochures on every stand, right? But he pulls out the brochure. He goes, "Now, this is the thing. You've got to go and hear this. FS."
I think he did tell me about this. Go on,
go on. FS music. So he told you as well, which is interesting because okay, I'm going to repeat his enthusiasm. So FS Musical Systems from Dusseldorf had a little
from where? Sorry,
Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf,
near northern Germany. Maybe I didn't pronounce that correctly, or maybe the phone.
It just faded down. The sound faded down. I didn't hear it. Yep.
So a couple of German guys, F and S, Frank and Stefan. How imaginative! But that's where the lack of imagination stops. So I went down and had a listen. I didn't rush down. I think it was in fact the next day or even the day after. I'm not sure. But I got there to the halls finally. And I go, there's FS Musical Systems. I want to go and have a listen to that. And you know what I'm going to say? It was just staggering. Like and it was such a shock. So we're talking about a beautifully manufactured piece of high-end equipment in all of the normal ways. So highly lacquered, curved enclosures. It's a large stand mount. There is a separate bass system, which is perhaps a series of maybe 9.5, 10-inch drivers, 4 in total. It's actively powered. So you sit down, you go, well, that's a full range driver. So it's got an 8-inch full range driver in this. So you've got this oldie worldy driver in this new world, slick, high end, very nicely designed, curvaceous enclosure. Quite a hefty sort of speaker. Don't think small. I mean, it's an 8-inch after all. So, I mean, look it up, people. FS Musical Systems. I don't know. It Google's kind of okay. They're a new company, so they're not, they're not everywhere on the internet, but you'll find them, and we'll of course list the link on the webpage for this podcast. So, and probably throw up a picture. So it's so I go in there with Peter's recommendation in back of mind, but I don't know the man that well. I don't know his taste in equipment, right? So so I didn't quite know what to expect, but he did describe the sound as being, well, he says the best he heard at the show, all right? So I go in there, and he implied a step up. So I go in there, I sit down without, I just walk in, and there was a few people in there, and they were playing kind of a light orchestral piece, maybe a string quartet kind of thing, and it was like, geez, this is tasty. Like it's not something I know musically, but it did all the right things, and I was like, wow. And I walked out and went, I think I said to Stefan from memory, wow, that's impressive. And he in his ever helpful, new to the industry, high levels of enthusiasm kind of way, says, wow, look, I'll play you something that you know. I said, have you got streaming? And he goes, yes. And So I listened to a track that I know, and my jaw hit the floor.
Wow.
It is just, I can't now. Okay, it was at a show. It was a particular thing. It was a particular piece of music. I'm going to put some caveats, I guess, on how ultimately good it is. But if the question is, what was the thing that turned your ear most at the show? It was this system by a mile. It was so
Wow.
clean.
Okay.
It's the sense of spaciousness, the placement of instruments, the movement of sound, the depth, the width, the dynamics, the cleanliness, all of these things. Oh, breathtaking, utterly breathtaking. So at this point,
So was that?
say again, Edgar.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, was that in the X areas, like the exhibition area,
It
or
was
was that?
in either X5 or X2. It was the other side to the main
Okay,
venue.
so yeah, that's why I didn't see it. Okay.
Yeah, it was in a cabin.
Yeah.
It was it was, to be honest, nothing against the guys, the nicest guys, but it was not well. They should have had a pair of the loudspeakers out the front on the stand, so you knew what was in there. Lots of people wouldn't have gone in there because there was an FS musical system logo, and that was kind of it. And there was a few other things on the stand, like cables or something, which ho hum, another cable.
Oh, okay. So unless you were actually referred to it like you were,
I would have missed it.
I would have missed it. And you wouldn't see it.
And that's why I mentioned Peter Amos, because without him giving me the heads up, there's a good chance I wouldn't have seen it. And I don't want to. I'm going to investigate them further, so I won't guarantee that I'm going to swing past their factory anytime soon, but the offer's been made, and I have to say I would love to hear them again. And here's, to some degrees, and the reason why, and I'll also tell you what's a shame about them in a way. So the first things first, the sound is breathtaking, cannot be understated. New levels, as far as I'm concerned, of just musicality, cleanliness. When if you play a piano, if you just hit a note on an actual piano, and your ears aren't all blocked up or something, and whatever, you haven't just got off a plane, you have this clean, particularly if it's a Steinway or something, right? You have this beautifully clean, perfect note. HiFi doesn't do that well, because a piano is so damned hard to reproduce that dynamics.
Yeah, and then there's the decay.
And the right decay, and the body of the note.
Yeah.
So these things do all of this. And then when you say, there's a separate bass system, it must sound separate. No way. I didn't believe the bass system was anything to do with it. I thought it was all coming out of the 8-inch full-range speakers. And then there's the fact that it's an 8-inch full-range speaker. You've got to be joking, right? So
to get that level from
it's got
level of sound quality from that driver.
Beautiful top-end refinement. How do they do it? I have no idea how they do it, and this is why I want to investigate more. Okay, so this is all very exciting, and I'm like juiced up. This is astounding. Everything Peter said is the case, if not more. I can see why he was impressed by them as a lifelong professional who has been into umpteen high-end recording studios all around the world. He knows good sound when he hears it. He was right. Here's the catch, everybody. It's hugely expensive. Bugger.
Of course.
And of course, when you think about it, well, why wouldn't it be? Because you can't do it for less, right? So
that's right. Exactly.
I think I shouldn't throw prices around, but if you think along the lines of maybe 60 or 80,000 euro for the speakers. I need to investigate more. So I'll just leave it at that and say, certainly the most exciting listen at the show by a long margin, not a little bit.
I'm going to look them up.
Oh, you need to.
I'll look them up.
And I have a feeling that they will, in the next 12 months, everyone will know about them. I don't think
we'll be talking about it.
Yeah, right. I think so. Yeah. So that was the find of the show. And I guess on that note, I'll report back if I get in touch with them. I am in Europe for a little longer, so I might be able to make my way there, but I would not make any guarantees.
Sure.
What's final thoughts, Edgar, and we will leave the listener to their other business for the day.
Yes, final thoughts. I think overall a success. Small teething problems that will surely be fixed by 2027. Kudos to the High End Society for staging an amazing event.
Yes,
they would have been navigating through some fairly tumultuous waters prior to the show, changing venue and organising things, making sure it all runs smoothly as it did. Also, thanks to all I don't know if they're volunteers or they're paid or whatever, but the young people that work there and help people along and guide them to the right location, and put the thing around your wrist.
Yes.
The band around your wrist so you can get in. Yeah,
Yes.
It all smoothly. They're always doing it with a smile, and that's great. So overall, a great event and a good future for the High End Vienna. The only thing they need to, which I think is the most important thing to deal with, aside from the small little teething things, is trying to fit in all the exhibitors that couldn't fit in this year.
I think,
and there's two ways about it. Two ways of doing it. One is by doing it at another venue as close as possible, which will also be under the High End Society banner or umbrella, and or using up some of the empty social spaces that were around with some prefab rooms.
Yeah, look, I think I know nothing about organising hi-fi shows, but I would imagine they'd like to keep it all under one roof and making better use of the vast amounts of empty space which there was, which was kind of nice because you didn't feel, I mean, if anyone was
were free to move around.
Yeah, if you were slightly claustrophobic, the MOC may not be your thing. This place, not a problem.
Yeah.
Look,
right.
I don't think anything gets a 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9.5 because nothing's perfect, but it was very close to perfection. I think it was a magnificent show.
Yes.
Of course,
it was great.
Heads up for next year. If you do find yourself at the show with an unruly head of hair, then the clip stand can help you out. They had a barber shop set up. Not sure.
Right.
Fun. An incredibly small amount of coverage on the internet, but and I even myself actually swung the camera around and I think kind of missed it. Bugger, because
you didn't get a haircut, right? Okay.
I didn't. Well, what are you going to do?
You could have got one of those hipster haircuts. I'm sure that's why that was there.
Well, that was one of those hipster haircuts. Okay, old man. That was, I'm just saying, throw that at the end. There was a barbershop there, not something that happens at every hi-fi show that I'm aware of. A magnificent show. Anyone who's anyone who didn't go this year, seriously, you missed out. It was great in every way. I don't understand any negativity towards hi-fi shows. It was a great time. What can I say? Yep. Bump into great people, great equipment, great venue, great city. We'll leave on that note, I think. Hey, thank you, Edgar. Thank you so much for helping me wrap up a magnificent hi-fi show.
Thank you, Andrew. We'll talk soon.
We will speak very soon. Thanks again, and over and out.